As the last arc of Kaguya-sama Lovers' War is upon us, I've been preemptively looking for a series that can fill the void once it finishes. And I think I may have found just the one. The first chapter has the exact same style of mind games as Kaguya-sama, with one small twist that our protagonists are pretending to be into each other, rather than feigning indifference. And while the mind games don't continue to feature as prominently in the rest of the story, it still has all the things that made Kaguya-sama great. Comedy that had me rolling with laughter, well-written, likable characters, and a surprise crime family subplot that at first glance would seem out of place but somehow works anyways. Ladies and gentlemen, may I present Opposites in Disguise. Opposites in Disguise has one of my favorite premises for a rom-com that I've come across in quite a while. Our protagonist, Chase, is popular with everyone at school, including, unfortunately for him, the resident yandere. In fleeing said yandere's advances, he pretends to have a girlfriend, and grabs the first lady he comes across, Kyra, the intimidating ice queen of a student council president. Chase begs her to pretend to kiss him, which she agrees to do, after he promises to do anything for her in return. Having saved Chase's virginity, Kyra now has one command for him. And what does she ask? For Chase to pretend to date her for 2 weeks. You see, when rumors started going around the school that she and Chase might be dating, suddenly people actually started talking to her, because having a boyfriend makes you less intimidating, I guess. Anyways, Kyra decides it would be nice to have friends, and having Chase as a boyfriend is a small price to pay. So, from there, the story is a romantic comedy, with non-stop character growth, drama, and a pinch of horror thrown in for good measure. Now that you know what the story's about, let me talk your ear off about why I love it. To start off with, the pacing for Opposites in Disguise is on point. Somehow, things both feel like they're going at 90 miles an hour, while at the same time feeling like nothing's rushed. And that's brilliant! I think this dichotomy comes from me being used to rom-coms being slow burns, where the humor disguises the fact that any character progression or plot is moving at a snail's pace. Hence, when characters are already growing as people, and the plot has gone interesting places in the first 16 chapters, it feels fast while having a pace that would be perfectly reasonable in other genres. Now, on the note of characters, all of them are great. There's not been a single character introduced so far who was so much as even average. All of them have vibrant enough personalities to easily carry the story on their own, and the way they all bounce off each other is infinitely entertaining. A particular favorite of mine would be Ava, who's both an incredible friend to Chase and also the most hilarious troll. She easily has some of the best lines in the series and raises a ton of hell while also still being kind and compassionate when required. Easily best girl. Ava aside, I'm incurably curious to know more about all the other characters and their backstories. The author has put in a lot of little hooks so far about the different characters' pasts, from what the heck is the deal between Chase and Little Miss Yandere, to Kyra's, super not sketchy family, to the source of Johnny's confidence issues. And it's always exciting whenever there's a new piece of the puzzle revealed. Now then, we've come to my favorite part of every video I've done on a comedy series, explaining the humor. Because I am so very qualified to do so, and jokes are so very funny when you explain them. Ah well, let me try my best, because to gloss over things by just saying this series is funny would be a massive disservice to it. So, part of what makes the series funny is just that the author behind the series does slapstick really, really well. The frog ping pong scene scrolling on screen as I'm talking is a great example of this, with both the drawing of motion being expertly done and the character facial expressions being on point. The dialogue in the story is also a huge source of humor. The repartee between the characters is great. As I mentioned before, the characters have great chemistry with each other, but even offhand remarks are comedy gold. Most every character in this series has made me laugh at least once with something they said. Finally, the last and greatest source of humor is the absurd situations. Perhaps unsurprisingly, pretending to be dating to avoid yanderes and make friends can put you in a lot of unexpected situations, and I have been enjoying scarfing down popcorn as I watch Chase and Co. careen from one surreal event to the next. After all that praise, is there anything bad I have to say about this series? Well, honestly, not anything major, no. The art is perhaps not the most polished, but that hardly affected my enjoyment of this series. And I do think it's gotten better over the course of what's being put out so far. A bigger complaint, though, would be that there's just not that much out so far. As I mentioned earlier, only 16 chapters. And it's only been getting one chapter every month. Frankly, I'm concerned that it might not get finished. And that brings me to why I created this video. It was a trap! The whole thing is just a self-interested ploy because I want to read more Opposites in Disguise. And at the moment, it is criminally lacking attention. If you are watching this video, please go and check out the series either on Webtoon or Mangadex. I want to see this series get some more love so I can read many more chapters of it. And also, self-interest aside, it just is really good. For those of you familiar with Tomo-chan is a Girl, or Muso Telepathy, or Gekken Shoujo, or, well, obviously Kaguya-sama, if you liked any of those series, you'll definitely enjoy Opposites in Disguise. Honestly, even if you don't like rom-coms, you should still give Opposites in Disguise a try, because I think it'll change your mind. And yeah, that's all I had to say. There's only 16 chapters out after all. Now, go and read Opposites in Disguise. Thanks for listening. Bye.